Guys, Ken Kaplan Sr. and Jr. here at the New England Motorcycle Museum in front of the Rockville sign with two classic CZs. These are 1974 models, and you'll see there were a lot of mid-year changes on these. This was an exciting time to be a motocrosser. Honda just released the revolutionary Honda CR250, and up until that point, when Honda came out with the Elsinore, these bikes dominated motocross throughout the 60s and into the 70s, and still did to the mid-70s. In fact, Joel Robert was the three-time world champion. They won 7, I looked this up online, they won 7 world championships on these bikes in 16 international 6-day trials. And in recognition of that, I wore my ISDT jacket, and we rode these around this morning. I just got done riding it. That's why we kind of got the wind in the hairdos here. We didn't put helmets on because we were just riding around the driveway. Probably should have had helmets on, but these things feel really stable, really reliable. Can you come in, zoom in a little bit on these? Junior, if you want to grab the camera, or if you want to keep him behind it, that's fine. The bikes handle remarkably well. They feel extremely planted and stable, and they're very torquey. I did a 3-gear, first, second, third gear wheelie all the way up the driveway on this one here. These were owned by a local friend of ours, a local collector, who has had them in his home museum. He had 9 bikes. He sold us the entire collection about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. The Yamaha 125 that we just released, the original one, and these are from the same collection. These are exactly the way the bikes were put into storage in 1975, and they sat in his home museum for, well, 45 years. He's getting up there in years, decided to let them go, and thought we were the right guys to do this for him, so here they are. These are pretty much 100% original. I'll go over them one by one. We're not going to have 2 separate videos for these. We're going to do one riding demo with both of these bikes, but just to be clear, this is the 74 CZ number 1, and that's the early 74, and that's the late 74. Let's start on this one right here. A couple unique things. Again, an exciting time to be a motocrosser. The 71 and 72 model looked nothing like these. They didn't have their big giant radial fin head. They didn't have the aluminum coffin tank. The 73 was the first year. They didn't have the leather strap. This is the original leather strap, original seat. Now, again, this is not lipstick on a pig. These are original, unrestored bikes with very low hours. It's like finding one in a crate from 1974. You're just not going to find these like this with low hours, original, mint, excellent running bikes. They just don't exist unless it's in a museum. So, again, the CZ stands for Czechoslovakian. Actually stands for, I'll probably kill it pronouncing it, but it was CESKA space ZBROJOUKA, Sheska Brzoka. Now, a guy from Berlin, we put a little teaser video up last night, said that it was pronounced cheesy. I don't know if that's true or not. Here in the States, we call it CZ. You just don't see a lot of these bikes. I'm not going to do a lot more talking because I want to do the riding demo, because you're not going to believe how badass these bikes sound and how good they run. So I'll tell you what we did to this bike here. CZ was also the first company to come out with an expansion chamber. They dominated, again, 16 international 6-day world championships, 7 motocross world championships, 3 by Joel Robert. First year, the coffin tank. And look at the quality of this thing. It's just, the Hondas, when they came out, didn't have the heavy-duty construction this had, but the Hondas were mass-produced, and they were a lot less money. And the marketing from the Honda, they had a better grip on what the Americans wanted, and they had that "you meet the nicest people on a Honda" campaign. And the Hondas were a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit faster, but as far as durability, I talked to 5-time AMA national champion vintage rider who we bought a big collection from, and he said, if these are the bikes, if you want something that's durable, it's not going to break, the CZs are the ones to get. Look at the heavy-duty frame. Look at the heavy-duty swing arm, the beefy forks on this thing. This bike has the original Acront rims on it, and it has the original sticker. Okay, this is almost 50 years later. That thing will power wash off. You get a young kid with a power washer, it'll blow that thing off in 2 seconds. Original front fender, original tank, original seat, original rear fender, original expansion chamber. As far as I can tell, this bike is damn near close to 100% stock. I can tell you it has Red Wing shocks on it. I think that was a dealer installed upgrade, and I did some research, and the upgrade from the carburetor was a JIKO and a JCon to the Mikuni carburetor. You can see this is a newer style carburetor. This one was installed not at the dealer like the other one was. This one was stalled after the fact by the owner. So runs beautiful. This is a 73 number 1. Look at the shocks on this. See how they're angled right here? The later model 74, this one here, check this one out. The shocks are mounted a little bit farther forward. Again, an exciting time to be a racer because they change stuff every year dramatically. If you look at this 74 versus a 72, it's light years different. The shocks are mounted farther forward. These are the original, see, can you zoom in on the sticker? Original CZ shocks. The rims were changed mid-year to this style rim that didn't collect the mud like the other ones did. Look at the pegs on these bikes. Look at the brake levers. Look at the original handlebars, the original seat. You can see these are extremely low-hour originals. Now this one, if you zoom in over here, this is a 70s era Mikuni carburetor. It looks a little more old school than the other one. This was a dealer-installed upgrade in the U.S. All the dealers were putting the Mikuni carbs in because they ran a lot better. Other than that, the way it came from the factory, this is exactly how the bike came from the factory. So, again, World Championship winning, kick-ass bikes. They went through the detail shop. Doc gave her the full Monty detail, did a little bit of touch-up paint on the frame. Both of these bikes, we did the same thing. Drained the gas tanks, took the air boxes apart, cleaned the air boxes, lubed or cleaned it and oiled the filter, cleaned out the carburetors, put new fuel lines on them. Yeah, I want to point this out. This is the original CZ front fender, straight up. Good luck finding another one. What I found, go on eBay, go on Cycle Trader, look at what's out there for CZs for sale. All that's out there are core bikes and racers that have been beat to shit, and all of them start at around $5,000 and up. 5 to 7,500 is what's listed on eBay today for bikes that don't even run. They're just core bikes. These things run beautifully. They've been in a private museum collection for 45 years. You're not going to find a nicer CZ anywhere. So again, gear oil changed, fresh VP fuel, gas tanks cleaned out, petcock serviced and cleaned, new fuel lines, new fuel filters, air filters are serviced, oils chains were lubed, and the tires were pumped up. So carb float needles cleaned, and carb stripped the jets and put an ultrasonic cleaner and reassembled and test ridden, and then here they are. I mean, these are original, unrestored, stunning CZs.
Each bike's going to have its own work order listed in the eBay description, and we're going to demo each one now. Can't really go wrong with either. The Europeans knew how to make competition bikes. Like Senior was saying, I mean, these were the bikes that dominated in the 60s and coming on up, and this is the pinnacle. Into the 70s, yeah. Into the 70s, and this is the pinnacle of the European manufacturers. I mean, just looking around the bike, I mean, CZ was making their suspension components, and all throughout the bike, it's branded CZ. It's sort of like the Makos. The Europeans took pride in their bikes, and these weren't piecemeal together. Aside from the wheels made by Akront, and of course the carburetors were produced by third parties, but just a lot of pride, guys, and a proven machine.
You know, if CZ had better marketing, they were obviously Czechoslovakian company. They didn't have the U.S. marketing branch, and in fact, they were one of the first motorcycle companies. 1919 is when they opened. They were a gun manufacturer like BSA, and in 1993 they were purchased by I had it written down. I forget the name of the company that purchased them, but whoever bought the company ran it into the ground, and they went out of business in 1997. But they had a good long, almost 100-year run, and they had these things figured out, and they were pretty much bulletproof, and that stands true to today. Now, we already warmed these bikes up. The cylinders are warm to the touch, and we rode them around for 10 minutes to kind of get the hang of it, and they're a hoot. So check this out. We'll take them for a rip. I think I want to ride this one. You can ride this one, and then we'll switch off. Let's just putt around a little bit, let them hear them idle. I'll start mine first, let it idle, and then pull away, and we'll start this one second and let that one idle. Just beautiful, beautiful machine.
slap, no lower noise. Just the sounds you want to be hearing from an early air-cooled two-stroke. It's a 250, guys. Piston port. There's no reeds. Just stand one up like that. Bike's healthy. Our lead off-road tech, Chris Kelly. Oh, he had the fuel turned off. Looks like he's going to stall it out here. Turn the fuel back on. 2 petcocks on these. Like I was saying, our lead off-road tech, Chris Kelly, raced motocross for 40 years. He does all of our competition bikes, specializing in two-strokes. Both of these bikes are dialed, ready for the MX Rewind at Unadilla, or an armor race, hair scrambles, whatever you want to do with them, they're ready to roll.
World Championship, whole shot power, World Championship hill climbing, yet this thing's capable of winning international 6-day woods events. I'll show you how much torque it has down low. That wasn't even into the meat of the power band. These are close to 35 rear wheel horsepower. Awesome machine, awesome. I forgot to turn the gas petcock on, that's why it was burbling down there. Well, listen to this, I'm going to show you the slow speed capability. I'd like to add, I think this bike has as much or more torque than any 70s, early 70s 250 I've ever ridden, Yamaha DT or otherwise. Definitely more power than a DT, definitely more power than a Yamaha MX, and I'd say it's got more torque and horsepower than the CR250. But then again, these are like a time capsule. These are like brand new museum pieces that were put on mothballs for 45 years and bought out of the time capsule. So you're not going to find a nicer one anywhere on the planet unless it's in another museum display. Absolutely fantastic. I wish I knew how to say that in Czechoslovakian. Fantastic. Junior, you want to demo this one? Remember, if you end up in the hospital, it's a 2-week quarantine right now, so don't do anything stupid like I just did. Up close of the engine and everything. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome.
Got it idling nice and down low. Same deal, guys.
As far as from a quality of construction standpoint, there was nothing better than this in 1973 and 74. The Honda was a new model. It doesn't hold up as well as these do. These were well thought out evolution of a bike that had been around for a long time, and it just built to a higher level of quality and durability than the Honda was, or the Suzuki. The Suzuki TM is really a piece of shit compared to one of these. And these are super rare. You just don't see these that have been preserved in brand new condition by a private collector since brand new. These needed no engine servicing because everything's new. Engine, transmission, clutch, very low hours. I would say these have under 5 hours use. The brakes are on point. The clutch is on point. The transmission. The only thing I would change on this is jet it for your altitude. It's very cold here now. I think these are jetted a little bit rich. Probably lean out the pilot in the main a little bit so it revs out a little cleaner. Hey, look at the shine on that tank over there, the sun. Can you see that? The coffin tanks alone are worth the price of admission. These have the original handlebars with the lever perches built in, welded on very durably. And again, this is the one with the original CZ. Both of these have the original CZ fenders. This CZ fender was a Preston Petty replica with a the CZ. You know, Preston Petty had come out with their new Mutter style front fender. And right here you can see the CZ logo, original number plates, everything. These are currently one of our featured displays in the New England Motorcycle Museum. They'll be here as long as the, can you kill it? Everything works perfectly on these bikes. These are what I call no excuse Kaplan America approved bikes. I'd take this right to, the only thing I would do to these bikes, because these are the same tires that were on there when he parked them 45 years ago, is I would put or he might have refreshed the tires at some point, I don't remember, but we bought 9 bikes from him. But I can tell you this, all I would do is put a brand new set of MX'ers on these and roll this to the, matter of fact, if you had this at Unadilla, I mean at Daytona, you probably would have won, because you got a second on a Mako that had a fucked up shifter situation. And these have a much better shifter situation. They shift way better. So, great. Thanks for sneezing on me. Listen, you're not going to find a better pair of CZs than this anywhere. Again, that's CZ number 1. That's the early 74. Can you turn this? Can you come over here for a second, Kyle? Try not to breathe on me, all right? Look at the VIN numbers are matching VIN numbers for the engine 3953 and the frame 3857. Those are the original VIN numbers. The frame type was a 980 803. Production year was 197, and then they didn't stamp in the 74 75. It just says 197 1970, and they left it blank, so this frame could have been used for the 1975 model year because it's a later model. That's what they did. Engine capacity 248 cc's, and the engine output is 32 horsepower at 88 RPM. I can tell you, we didn't rev these things over 6,000 RPM, so there was a lot more power left to go. You can get these things to really scream if you run them with a little bit leaner. We're running 32 to 1. You can run them a little leaner and lean out the main and pilot. Come on over here for a second, Kyle. Junior, can you lean that one against the wall over there so we can go over this VIN plate on this one? Kyle, come around this side and read the VIN plate on this one. This one here is matching engine and frame number, but this is a 980-808 different model frame. What are the differences of the frame? Well, the exhaust pipe mount is different. The swing arm's different. Again, this is 1907 with a blank, 246 cc, still rated at 32 horsepower. So this is a different, same year, but a different model frame, because back then, times were evolving so quickly that they would make mid-year changes. You can see these quality Red Wing shocks that are on here were the best you could. These are not cheap aftermarket shocks. These are top-of-the-line Red Wings from that era. The other one has the CZ shocks, the same ones they put on the Falter replica. So, and you can see the carburetor is upgraded to the Mikuni. Other than that, bone stock right out of the crate. If you have any questions, give us a call, 860-454-7024. These bikes have been ridden. They're not perfect. There's a little bit of patina in a couple different areas. The tank on this one has a couple tiny little dings on the left side right here. As you can see, if you're looking close, shows beautifully, but it's got a couple tiny little dings. I'm not sure if there's anything else I'd like to disclose to you on here. Everything else looks pretty damn good. Is there anything you'd like to add on?
Ship both the bikes anywhere in the States inexpensively, so message us your zip code for a quote. call with any questions. Don't ask me about the cylinder head or anything about the CZ because I know nothing about it because I'm 20 years old.
Hey, I'm 55 years old and I am no CZ expert. There's a bunch of guys that are going to watch this video that know 100 times more than I know about it. So feel free to comment about anything I may have misquoted. Again, do a close-up. There's a couple little dings in the tank right here. Again, these bikes were ridden for at least 5 hours off-road. So a couple little dings there. I think the wheel has got a dent in it too. There's a little dent in the original aluminum rim. Nothing major. A little ding on the top of the tank right here. Tank looks from 10 feet like it's a brand new tank, but I want to disclose there's a tiny little dent right there. Now we have a dent magician, Joe Abate, that can take these dents out. He's the best, one of the best in the world. And we also have Eric here on the East Coast, who's the best I've seen in the last 20 years, at least on the East Coast. Him and Joe are in the same league. Those dings could be easily taken out, so don't sweat it. They could pop those out and polish it. It'll be like brand new. It's not an issue. Just you got to open your wallet a little bit wider if you want perfection. So just want to disclose those couple of original wear points. Again, the bottom of the pipe on this one here, this is dented in also, very typical. And there are specialists that can, under here, I don't know if you can even get down there, the pipe's dented in. Now, this is the original pipe, super high quality. Again, a dent specialist could straighten that pipe out. We're selling them exactly the way they came out of a 45-year slumber. We did do the full recommissioning. By that, I mean cleaning out the whole fuel system, putting new fuel lines on it, rebuilding the carburetor, cleaning the air box, changing the oil, making sure everything electrically was perfect, airing up the tires, lubing the chain. We did everything. Major detailing on them, cleaned them, and washed them, polished them. They're already spotless, so it didn't change that much. But whatever we could do, we've done. Mostly preservation services. That's about it, folks. Good luck finding nicer ones. Again, look at what's on eBay. A bunch of built core bikes for $5 grand. The NADA Blue Book lists these at $62.95, $6,300. They're worth every freaking penny, and they're only going up in value. They could be worth a lot more. Meek 'em, the bigger auctions, these things will really ring the bell. So don't miss your opportunity. Press it, buy it now before they're gone. Thanks for watching, and God bless America. And God bless. Check